We've got our final 2 games of the season today. There's a real outside chance we could get into the playoffs. I'm not really bothered though, because the important breaking headline news is Sedwin Scott has signed a new contract. Hello and welcome to part 38 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, it is our final 2 games of the season. We're away against Woking and away against Tranmere. 2 away games against one team that's good and pushing, or is already in the playoffs, and one that's trying to avoid relegation. We're probably going to lose 2 times. We have been losing a lot recently. We went on a horrible run of form after the last episode that just ruled out any real opportunity of getting into the playoffs. Mathematically, it is still a possibility. We're only 4 points behind Eastleigh. So if we win both of our games and Gloucester, Barrow and Eastleigh all lose theirs, or Gloucester, Barrow and Torquay, or maybe all... There's a lot of ifs, a lot of buts. It's not likely to happen. But it doesn't matter, because the man, Sedwin Scott, has signed a new deal. He's here for another 2 years. Yes, we're giving him an awful lot of money, and he's got a £90,000 release clause, so he won't necessarily be here for those full 2 years. But after a season like that, it's just good to know that we should at least have him here at the start of next year. And he's 1 goal behind Tranmere striker Obrid. I assume that's his full name, and hopefully we'll get a couple of goals out of him today and he can finish as conference top scorer, because that would be a really marvellous thing. He's also high up on the player of the match things, and if you look on us as a club, obviously he's our top scorer, highest average rating, most assists, most man of the match. The only thing he's not top of is best pass completion and the disciplinary stuff, but he's he's all right, and he's had quite a good season. What is his pass completion? 77. Should we just get Mason on and have him miss a few passes to try and get Scott top of that as well? Right, this is our team for today, and we have, after all the excitement of Scott, we've ruined him a little bit. He's not scoring every game anymore because we're now playing him as a target man on support again, purely because Danny Philliskirk went in a bit of a rough patch of form, and Omar Bugiel, don't really know how to say your name, Omar. We'll just call you Omar, I think. It made sense to get him into the team. We've still got Mason around as well. And no one else can really play a supporting role apart from Philliskirk and Scott. So I think a priority for the summer will be to find another striker. More strikers! Will be to find another striker who can play as a support striker. Keep Philliskirk around, because when he's in form, he's very good. Maybe let one of Bugiel or Mason leave. Bring in another support striker so that we can always play Scott as a target man on attack, where we know he is so lethal. But this is the team. We've got Can in goal, a back 4 of Anderson, Laskowski, Stone and Birch, with Smith, Cowans, Brundle and Hornsby in midfield, and then Scott and Bugiel, Omar. We're just going to change his name, I think. We'll set him a nickname. I'm not going to try and say your surname, Omar. You're just going to be Omar, because I can say Omar. He's going to be the main man, the advanced forward, who's going to score a load of goals for us today. So... I thought we were playing Tranmere first, but it's Woking first. I was looking for Obird, or whatever we said their striker was called. Probably not that. I swear I'm getting worse with names as I get older. It is ridiculous. Right, here we go then. Let's keep an eye on the league table. Can we... I want to make this bigger. Is there a way to properly customise this screen? I would like to properly customise this screen. But other than swapping the boxes around, it doesn't look like we really can. I'd like to just have a full league table down the middle, and that would do. Just have the league table there, but it doesn't seem to be an option that we've got. Stone heads clear, but not very far, and it would have been very sad. This is the relegation threatened team, Woking. So this is the one of the 2 that we should, in theory, have a good chance of winning. And why is Laskowski that far forward? Smith's there, puts us 1-0 up, assist by Omar. Hurrah! Right, now we need to have a look at the league table and start having a look at what the other teams around us are up to, because I'm a little more confident, just a smidgen, a little more confident about a late playoff surge. I don't know why Laskowski's there. If we go into Tranmere on the last day with a good opportunity, a good chance to be able to do it. So that doesn't move us up the league at all. It's moved us up 1 place, so we're up to 9th. 2 points behind Eastleigh. Torquay look like they're winning their game, so Torquay probably aren't going to be catchable. Gloucester have dropped below us, but Barrow and Eastleigh, we'd need both of them to lose today and lose on the final day of the season, with us going and beating 3rd place Tranmere. It's still a massive long shot, but Scott is 1-on-1 well, it was 1-on-2 in the end. It took two of them to sort of do a scissor tackle on him to get the ball off him. But it's forward again, and it's Omar, and what a finish! That was an amazing finish. Full stretch, just sticks his toe out, but somehow got an extraordinary amount of power on that. If I imagined how good that goal was. Let's have a look at it again. Brundle over the top. Omar, pace. I mean, perhaps he's not on full stretch because he does get a little bit of welly behind it, but that's a lovely finish. And we're 2-0 up after 21 minutes. If we can get a goal for Scott now, I'll believe we might have a new strike partnership on our hands. Because as much fun as it was with Mason earlier in the season, he just went off the boil massively when we brought the two new strikers in and stopped playing him. No, before that even, he hadn't scored for a couple of games. That's one of the reasons I was looking. Hang on, our striker is on 18 goals by Christmas, hasn't scored for 2 matches. Sign 2 more strikers! And Phyllis Kirk was good for a while because he was creating so much for Scott, but then he's got off the boil. And Omar's only played like 3 games. And I think that's his 2nd goal already. He looks like he's a good goal scorer, a good finisher, just not really combining with Scott the way I'd want him to. And as we're throwing so much money at Scott, we kind of want a partnership rather than 2 lone strikers playing up front. Was that poor goalkeeping from Can? I mean, we're cutting Can a lot of slack at the moment because we're trying to develop what we want is a goalkeeper, and I hope it's Can. A goalkeeper who can play a full season for us next year in a promotion season and then stay in the team as we move into League One. We don't want massive upheaval in League One. League 2. And there's Scott with his goal, 3-1. I think we're starting to build a spine of Football League players. I think Scott will definitely be able to make the step up to League 2. Laskowski will be able to make the step up to League 2. I'm a little concerned we don't really have much in the way of a midfield that can step up yet. If Omar ends up as good as he looks like he could be, he could maybe make the step up. Phyllis Kirk has played all his career in the Football League, so in theory he should be able to as well. But I think our priority for the summer probably needs to be midfield players. I think we've got the basis of a good defence there. Anderson's another one who should be quite comfortable stepping up into League 2. Birch has been in our team for a long time now. He's not really fulfilled his potential. He's probably someone who needs replacing. We've got Worrell Bristow, who we've had for a couple of years, who's still, I think, showing his 5-star potential, but I've never really given him the opportunity. So we can probably rule out much from him. Don't have a left back on the bench. Howells can play left wing back. Yeah, why not? Let's get him on there, and then we'll give it 10 minutes, and then we'll take off Scott maybe. Got to leave Omar on for his... Actually, he's not. Is he on for a hat-trick? It looked like on there he was on for a hat-trick, but he hasn't scored twice, has he? Or has he? I need to go back to that other screen now. We need this highlight to stop. Right, here's Scott. Over to Omar, who doesn't control it very well at all. But that's brilliantly intercepted from Hornsby, who would be a player who could step up, but he's only here on loan. Crosses to Brundle, and I don't know why that just didn't get turned in. I think it's showing Omar as having 2 assists, not 2 goals. Right, Smith crosses. Is he crossing? No, he's just going for it as a shot. Did that bounce back off the crossbar? It just kind of... I don't know why he didn't cross it. The whole move seemed to just stop. Yeah, so Omar's got 2 assists. That makes more sense. Right, let's take off Sedwin Scott. And we'll bring on Phyllis Kirk to play as the deep lying forward on support. I said before, I've never really got that role working. It works when you're using a target man on attack on the other side. I haven't been able to get him working with either Omar or Mason, though. So perhaps it only works when it's alongside a target man. Or perhaps it's just because Phyllis Kirk's not in very good form and isn't really playing very well at all at the moment, regardless of who he's playing with or what role we're asking him to do. Is that it? Or is that just an offside? I think it was just an offside. Right, what's the position points-wise? Right, Torquay have dropped back down onto 72 points. And all of a sudden, it feels like it might be doable again. What was a 4-point gap has become a 2-point gap. So now, if we win against Tranmere, which is still a big if we can win against Tranmere, we need 2 of those 3 to lose. And we get into the playoffs. That's right, isn't it? Good. 2 changes for the last game of the season then. 1 voluntary, 1 enforced. Hornsby can't play because he's on loan to us from Tranmere, which I forgot who he was on loan from, but he's not able to play because that's who he's on loan from. So he has to sit it out. Hartley comes in for him. And we've also brought Tom Elliott back into the team at the expense of Brundle, purely because he's Tom Elliott and I don't know how he's not an Nuneaton legend by now. He's been here a long time. In fact, he could even be on the favoured personnel list. We haven't looked for a while. Darren McQueen is an icon for 1 season that he effectively almost ruined. Mason's on there. Scott's on there, as is Jordan Nicholson and Hornsby, but no Tom Elliott. What's Tom Elliott have to do to get on that list? Did you see on there as well? Media prediction 22nd. And we've got a chance. That was interesting as well. Steve Borrell. Did that show him as our best player? Was that hot prospect? Hot prospect. Okay, that makes more sense. He is a hot prospect. Expect to see more of him next year. But we do have the outside chance of getting into the playoffs. It is very much an outside chance. We've gone back to the old faithful of counter-attacking and structured for Tranmere because it served us so well earlier on in the season. We were a little bit more open and attacking against Woking. Yes, we want to finish in the best position possible. Yes, they're all... I mean, look, some of these players are out of contract. Obviously, Elliott, Stone, they're definitely going to be getting new contracts. Don't care about Tranmere players. We'll worry about contracts after the game because for now, what we need to do is go out here and just give it our best shot. We're keeping an eye on the games at Torquay and Eastleigh because ultimately, if they win their games, it doesn't matter what happens here. So, where's latest scores? Let's get that on the screen. Latest scores. So, Fylde are already up and they're winning their game. Nobody cares what's going on with Fylde. Right, Scott with a free kick, and it's a poor one. And Tranmere have got a little bit of a break on. We need to keep an eye on this fella who's made a run all out by himself. And, I mean, we said keep an eye on him. Nobody listens to me, do they? Nobody listens to Kev. We're 1-0 down, and while we're 1-0 down, it doesn't matter what's going on elsewhere. So we're going to minimise the latest scores. We don't care what the latest scores are while we're losing. We have to do our bit for us to earn the right to see if the other teams are doing their bit. So let's close that off if it ever lets me. It's never going to... Right, here we go. Close that off. And Cowans over the top to Smith. We've got both strikers hovering in the middle. Omar's there. He hits the crossbar. And it's back out to Cowans again, into Tom Elliott, who tries to play Scott in, but Scott wasn't really alert to where the run was going to be going. And the move breaks down. Right. I'm trying not to look at the scores, but I can see quite clearly that they're still drawing in their games because their points haven't changed. And we'll have a little... Right, Eastleigh are losing. Eastleigh are losing, everybody. I've still got the latest scores on there. I don't care. Let's get them up on here. Get them up on here. We need to be able to see. But we'll have a look after this move. So I'm looking during the move. Eastleigh are losing. What about Barrow? Barrow the other one? Barrow are the other one. Where are Barrow? Barrow are... Oh, we're 2-0. It just doesn't matter. Right, we've got to come off counter. Let's come off structured as well. It's not doing us any good at all. I don't want to see epoxy replay. Come on, lads. We've got an opportunity here. Torquay are drawing. Eastleigh are losing. Barrow don't seem to have turned up for their game. Nothing's happened. They're drawing theirs now. I think they were losing before. We are sat here staring at an opportunity that we just don't seem capable of capitalising on. And I know I shouldn't be getting frustrated at us missing out in the playoffs on the last day of the season because we should have been relegated this year. So it's still a spectacularly good season. But it's just disappointing when we just... I refuse to say we've bottled it on the last day of the season because we just haven't. We've massively overperformed. But, the frustration. Right, Omar's not having a very good game. I think it might be prudent to bring on Philliskirk so that we can play Scott more attacking. That seems like the sensible thing to do. Right, Smith. Over to, all the way back to Birch. It was a weird pass, but he finds Scott, who finds Omar. If he'd have scored there, we'd have kept him on, but he's missed 2 good chances now. And we just can't afford to have players missing chances. Scott with the corner for the last move of the half, and it doesn't even get a highlight. Poppycock. I really need to swear on this channel sometimes. Right. No, don't swap him over. Just put him as a deep line forward and support. You need to go up to attack. It's really harsh on Omar that we've done that. But we've got to score goals. So Cedwyn Scott scored goals when he was playing as a target man on attack. The only man he can do that with is Danny Philliskirk. So Philliskirk is on. Scott's got 25 minutes, and if he hasn't scored, then we're going to bring on Mason as well. We're going to bring on Mason now. Tell me it's not a bad one. Potential foot injury. I know it's the last day of the season, but we don't want him ruled out for the start of next season already. I think that's probably that. Because even if the miracle does happen now, if we haven't got Scott for the playoffs, we suddenly become a relegation battling team again. Without him, we keep falling into this trap with Nuneaton. But once again, we're a one-man team, and that one man is now not on the pitch when we need him most. Right, Hartley into Philliskirk. At least the shot's on target, unlike what we were getting out of Omar. But it didn't exactly trouble the keeper, did it? Brundle's sat there. Brundle should probably come on. Maybe for Cowans. Brundle has been our captain previously. He's a big game player. Swap those two over. Get them both in their preferred positions. And go overload. Torquay and... I mean, nobody's capitalising. We're all kind of bottling the last day of the season. Nobody wants these playoffs. It's because Lincoln and Tranmere and Boston, even York, they're the four who should be the playoffs. The rest of us are thinking, well, there's no point in us being in them anyway because we're going to lose. If we're not good enough to finish in the top 5, don't give us that taste of playoffs when we have no real chance of winning them. What a disappointing end to the season. To what has been a brilliant season. Got to keep looking at the positive. It's a disappointing end to a brilliant season. Just keep focusing on the positives, Kev. Good season. Went well. We finished 9th. We got 20 points more than we budgeted for. 30 points more than anyone thought we would. It has been a good season. Just wish we'd have got promoted. But hopefully we won't spend 4 years in the Conference National like we did the National League North. And this is one of those leagues that when we do build a team that can come out of this one, there's every chance of a back-to-back promotion. Right, what happened to Scott? What? That is worse than missing out on promotion. Oh, no. Well, that changes summer plans completely. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.